Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of my top 10 Scooby-Doo episodes for each series. Today, I'll be doing the new Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo show. I'm doing this one separate to the new Scooby-Doo mysteries. So you may have come here mistaking looking for the mysteries, but this one's actually the new Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo show. Let's get straight into my honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is the Fall Dog. Of course, these ones are only 10-minute mysteries, and look, the Gremlin wasn't bad in this one. I'll give it a pass. I mean, the difference with this series compared to the Richie Rich is it has Daphne and it has a longer runtime, and a bit more of a mystery going on to it. And the Full Dog ain't bad. I'll tell you that, the Full Dog ain't bad. My second honorable mention is Scooby and the Minotaur. It's not good. It's don't even know how it got into the top 13. You can tell it's a pretty shit series. The only thing that's good about this one is like the Minotaur. It's not as good as the original Minotaur from season 1 though. Like you can tell it's just way worse. I like the setting as well. I like the whole idea of the treasure hunters. My last honorable mention is, well, it's just an inch away from getting in the top 10, honestly. Very unlucky to miss out is Scooby Guest or Scooby Jest. I'm not exactly sure how you say it. I think it's Scooby Jest. This one wasn't bad. When I first watched it, I think I had it last for this episode. But when I watched it again, it actually wasn't that bad. Like, I've watched all these episodes like at least 4 or 5 times. Enough to get them, in my head. But it's not that bad. It really isn't that bad, this episode, and it has some fun elements in it. And I like whatever Daphne reads comes to life and chases Shaggy and Scooby. It's really fun, actually. 10th place is Scooby Roo. Just getting into the top 10. This one's set in Australia. The only reason why it's really in here is because I'm from Australia, and it's great to see a kangaroo, my favourite Scooby-Doo movie, I probably shouldn't, spoil this, because I haven't told anyone about the movies, is actually my favourite Scooby-Doo movie, and probably always will be, is Scooby-Doo Legend of the Vampire, I believe. That's what it's... I always get it confused with Music of the Vampire, because Music of the Vampire is like the worst, but Legend of the Vampire is the best, because it's set in Australia. Well, that's not the only reason, but that's like one of the reasons. But Scooby-Roo, good to see it set in Australia. The Neanderthal wasn't that bad either, so I'll give it a pass. In 9th place is Scooby Pinch Hits. This one involved a baseball ghost. Seeing most of these episodes, I've noticed that What's New Scooby-Doo's copied a lot of these episodes, which is very interesting. Because this one was one of the ones I remember the most being copied. I feel like the Gremlin was copied from Be Cool Scooby-Doo a little bit, maybe, like the monster, not really, but like, this one was definitely copied from like What's New Scooby-Doo, which is fine. You can copy these and make them better, because, the idea's right in this series. They're just too short, and they're not exciting, and you need the rest of the gang. And in 8th spot is Scoobsy. This one I thought would be my favourite, but it's actually slipped down to 8th because the ones above it are actually somewhat better. But Scoobsy ain't a bad one. The Phantom in it is pretty good. I like how Scoobsy's mistaken as an actor, which is quite funny. 7th place is the Specter from the Scooby Coop. That episode isn't bad either. I've got that one on DVD, so I've watched that one a lot of times. And the Spectre is one of the better monsters from the series. The mystery's a lot more entertaining. Just needed Fred, Velma, and, well, a longer runtime, really. And coming in at 6th place is the Hound of the Barkervilles. Or was it Hound of the Scoobyvilles, wasn't it? Yeah. But this one's based off the movie of the Barkervilles, Hound of the Barkervilles. This one was a fun retake of a fun movie. It wasn't as dark as it needed to be, but it did get dark in some spots, if you know what I mean. But it needed to be darker. That's why it's in 6th. In 5th place is the Crazy Carnival Caper. This one isn't bad either. The clown isn't as memorable as some monsters, but it has a bit of a fun mystery and a bit of a fun twist to it, because it had me fooled that it was that teacher the whole time, and it fooled me. Probably the most I've ever been fooled by a Scooby-Doo episode. I kind of enjoy watching it because sometimes I forget who it actually is, but of course it is who it is. His reason of doing it was right, but he made a huge mistake, just like the gang did. My 4th favourite is Scooby's Gold Medal Cabinet. This one isn't bad as well. The chameleon is literally just a rip-off of a Code in the Nose from the new Scooby-Doo Mysteries. I didn't actually know which one came first, but this one came first, because I watched the other one before this one, and this one is certainly interesting. It's not the best, but it's not the worst in this series. It's nothing special, really, but that's what you get a lot with this series. My top 3, though, I gave this one an 8 out of 10 when I ranked them the other day on my new Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo show rankings, because it's actually good. I felt like it didn't really need Velma and Fred. All it needed was a part 2, and that was Scooby a la mode. That's why it's up here, because all it needed was a part 2. Because I don't feel like Velma and Fred would have made the mystery any more entertaining. And I really, really enjoyed it. And the monster is probably one of my favourites ever of Scooby-Doo. Coming in at 2nd place is Creature from ChemLab. Monster is amazing again in this episode. It's very, very fun too. Not that spooky. It's very fun because it's, set at school. You can tell the monster's pretty fake because he doesn't look very real, but still a cool monster. I guess the only thing it really needed was a part 2. These 2 episodes would have been perfect for part 2. Why'd you pick that one? Where's Scooby-Doo or whatever it was called? Because that was honestly probably one of the worst episodes. And it had a part 2. These 2 needed part 2s for me. I reckon I could see this one in particular getting a part 2. More than Wedding Balboos, which is, of course, my number 1, Wedding Balboos. My ranking is out on the channel. I like this episode a lot. And I feel like it still would have been ranking up this high, even if it was a 10-minute mystery. And I could see it being a 10-minute mystery. They stretched parts out a little bit just to make it go for the, original 22-minute runtime. And I feel like the Creature from ChemLab would have been better for the part 2. But that's just my opinion. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for my next ranking, which will be of the new Scooby-Doo mysteries. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.